What's going on? 4th and 5. Josh Throne here with Matt Harris for another Getting Defensive episode as we move on into LSU week down in Louisiana. Matt, you've got some history playing down there, don't you?
Yeah, baby. Man, I love Baton Rouge. I tell people all the time, if I could play 12 games a year, I'd want to play them in Baton Rouge, baby.
You
That
you seem
place is
you seem like a
nasty.
guy who could have played for like you probably fit in with those crazy guys down
Yeah,
there.
yeah. A little Cajun in me somewhere along the line. But yeah, it's a tough place to play. But I always loved playing in Baton Rouge, man. They have a great environment.
I bet you did. You're like the white honey badger is what you are.
I'll take
Hey,
it.
so DJ and I and Grant, we got a chance to catch up earlier this week at DJ's live show at Oaklawn in Hot Springs. And before we even get into it, we want to thank Oaklawn for being our sponsor. If you guys have not downloaded the Oaklawn Sports app, go do it because this weekend, DJ, Grant, Matt, and I will all be putting together a parlay. And I think we've been pretty dead gum close lately. So if you guys get on board with us now, you might actually win something. I'm going to try to have more of a conservative approach to my bet, my addition to the parlay. So hopefully we win. So again, thanks to Oaklawn Sports for being an amazing sponsor. And go to the App Store on your iPhone or Google Play Store and download Oaklawn Sports app. So get into the Arkansas LSU game in Death Valley. Matt, before we dive into it, I want to talk about the previous game here in Fayetteville 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? What did you take away from that game, offensively,
Mm,
defensively, as a whole? I know it was another letdown, but where's your
yeah.
head at?
Yeah, definitely let down, Josh. I mean, this year's kind of scrapped. I think at this point, we can all just say that I don't know if we've thrown in the towel, but the energy is not there. And I was really excited for a handful of plays. I thought we got great production from our defensive front. Our defensive line showed out, man. We had 2 sacks, but 10 tackles for loss, Josh. I don't know if that's a
Mhm.
record, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be close. I mean, we had a really productive game from our defensive front standpoint. Our first half was fantastic. Their rushing yards they had as a collective whole, they didn't have a 100-yard rusher. They had like 112 yards rushing overall.
Right.
The passing game killed us.
Mhm.
You know, they had 3 guys that were averaging over 20 yards a catch. You just can't do that if you want to win a football game. So, you know, football is the most beautiful team sport ever because we held them to a good first half defensively and we let up too many points in the second half defensively. Same thing with the offense. We had a big second or third quarter, and then we just laid down in the fourth quarter, and that they feed off of each other. It's so important when your defense feels like your offense is starting to slip and they're not winning. It's hard to always continue to go out there and make stop after stop after stop. And the same thing when the offense scores every time and the defense gets scored on. It's complementary football, Josh. It's Pee Wee Pop Warner stuff. So
Mhm.
I just don't think that this year's our year that we're going to jive together, right? The
Yep.
locker room is clearly torn. And Mississippi State was a winnable game. We should have won that game, but credit the Bulldogs. They came out and played a really good fourth quarter. They didn't give up. They had a quarterback injury go down. Man, it's the second time when we were playing Ole Miss and their quarterback switched on us. I said, oh, shoot, I would have rather played their starting quarterback. And
Mhm.
their backup quarterback came in and he was a run option guy. He was a zone read guy, and it threw us off of our disciplines. And so they were able to continue some momentum in the middle of the game. And then they brought in their other guy. And so it won our day, man. And it's not really our year. It's
Matt,
a turnover for
I
us.
think that's been like a common theme though. If you think about the Ole Miss game that happened,
Yeah.
if you look at the Memphis game, the backup quarterback that came
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
rushed that 12-yard carrying a,
Yeah.
300-pound man on his back,
Yeah.
backup quarterback. You look at the Auburn game,
Same
they
thing.
had that backup quarterback come in.
Yeah.
Mississippi State game, backup quarterback. So is
Right.
it from a defensive standpoint, is it the fact that you can't scout these quarterbacks very well? Is that something that plays into it? Or is it just
Yeah.
is it just, I don't know, like, we're just not there yet as a team entirely?
Well, it's kind of all three. It's a three-headed monster there for us. The first is you don't have a lot of film on those guys. You're not scouting them appropriately like you would as a starting quarterback. And then two, in practice, you only get so many reps, and so your scheme, your defensive play calls for that week are predicated for, like this week, a Nussmeier, right? And then
Mhm.
when the backup quarterback comes in, your subconscious is already loaded with how to stop this guy. And here this zone read guy, this runner comes in. And so your rules change. You've had experience in the zone read quarterbacks, as we kind of talked about, but your rules change. And if your team isn't all in sync on the same page defensively, that can be a struggle. So it's just, and then it's a maturity thing. It's your
Mhm.
defense. Do you have upperclassmen that can handle the switch, the audibles, the changes? And do you have a defensive line? It starts in the trenches, Josh. It always has. This is a defensive back telling you. It always starts in the trenches. If you can stop the run and you can stop the zone read when that running quarterback comes in, and you set yourself up for success. It's kind of one of our keys this week is win on first down, right? I mean, third down is the money down. Everybody knows it. But whether it's a running quarterback or a passing quarterback, if you can stop them and create a second and long and force them into an obvious passing situation, and now you can create one-on-one edges with your defensive ends, Xavier Sorey coming off the edge, whatever it is, you're in a little more control in the game plan. But those backup quarterbacks just keep throwing us off a little bit.
What do you think? I was asking DJ and Grant this after the Mississippi State game, but regardless of who the coach is, right? Regardless if it ends up being Petrino or if we make a big splash higher, it's somebody
Yeah.
else, right? W- I feel like we've been in every game, right?
Yeah.
You go back to the Ole Miss game, we were in it, should have won it.
Yeah.
Definitely should have won that Memphis game. The only game that I could say that, hey, we got the truly just beat was that Notre Dame game.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you how do you coach like being a winner in crunch time? Like, how do you coach? There's just some teams that you watch, there's some quarterbacks that you watch, some offenses that you watch that if they're behind
Yeah.
within a touchdown and they've got the ball and there's 2 minutes left on the clock, there's sometimes you're watching a game and you feel great, you feel comfortable. Like when
Yeah.
Tom Brady was in those
Yeah.
situations, like it's a confident feeling. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, uh-oh, and if you're the opposing team, you're like, "Oh, no, we left too much time on the clock because you
Right.
know you're playing a winner and
Right.
you've left them
Right.
in a position to win the game.
Right.
Um, and that's there's plenty of guys like that that have that kind of killer mentality. How do you coach that into the Arkansas team?
Man, I think that's where culture comes in, Josh. You hear coaches talk about all the time. It's not just an Arkansas thing, but this is where it comes down to champions win in the fourth quarter. I actually asked my dad about this. This is years ago. It's the Tony Romo era of the Cowboys, where we'd be in every game. In the fourth quarter, we just let go. And I said, what do you think it is, Dad, that this team in the fourth quarter just gives up? And he said, Matt, when we were in the huddle, it's a true story. He's like, without blinking, he said, when we were in the fourth quarter in crunch time situations, we in the huddle would say this: hey, if we stop them and give the ball back to Roger, we've got a chance to win the game. We believe in our offense. We believe in our quarterback. We need to stop them. And if we do, Roger Staubach's going to go in there and win this game. Gives me goosebumps. They're
Mhm.
saying this in the huddle.
Yeah.
It's an energy thing. Same thing is true. And my dad, to that point, he just said that the defense didn't believe in Romo. The teams didn't believe in each other. And
Mhm.
I think we have some of that going on right now at Arkansas, with this elite offense that Bobby Petrino and Coach P is supposed to bring. We had a huge letdown in Auburn. Huge. Same thing
Mhm.
at Ole Miss. Same thing in Memphis. Same thing at Mississippi State. Like when your defense doesn't believe that your offense is as elite as everyone says it is, it affects you mentally. And this year's a scrap year. We head coach, like you go look at the last 6 years with Pittman. If we won those 1-point games or those one possession games, I saw some crazy stat, like we would have been like number one in the country the last like 6 years. Like we've been in so many one possession games.
Right.
How do you do that? And so it's a culture thing. And Pittman couldn't figure out how to win those one score games. Petrino obviously isn't doing as well as we
Well,
all thought he was going to beat
with it being like with your point about culture though, you
Yeah,
know, culture takes time to build.
I know.
Petrino's only had I mean, he's taken over
I know.
Pittman's culture in a mid-season where you don't have
I
any
know.
time to build culture. If anything, you're
Not
trying to
fair.
the pieces are broken and you're trying to just put
Yeah,
the vase back together and hope it holds some water for you for the
yeah,
rest of the season.
yeah,
Um, that's always been my only, kind of
yeah,
pushback on, judging Petrino on these
yeah,
losses too harshly because it does take time to build that culture. But with that being said, we both know unless he comes out with some wins,
yeah,
a Death Valley win would start to change that narrative again a
Wouldn't
little
hurt.
bit, right?
Wouldn't hurt.
So it's possible, but I've always wondered that, like, because
Mhm.
the way that I've always thought, back to the earlier question about the killer mentality and how do you build that, and if it's culture and that type of thing.
Yeah.
To me, like, some of it is recruiting, and I guess it's hard to look at, am I recruiting a winner, or
Mhm.
am I recruiting just a really talented piece? And I think you can have a lot of really talented pieces that come from, high school programs that didn't win, right? That's
Right.
that's that's no big deal. But
Right.
somebody leading your offense who is got ice in their veins in
Yeah.
big
Matt
moments,
Jones type
you know,
style.
doesn't throw 3 picks in a row in a fourth quarter situation.
Yeah.
Um, and I love Taylor, and I think he's a
Yeah, me
great
too.
guy. I think he's a
Me too.
special talent. I
Yeah,
think
he's a
there's
Sunday
things
guy.
that there's things that he does that nobody in this
Yeah.
country can do right now in college
Right.
football.
Yeah.
But there's also a bit of, you know, being a game manager, having poise and calmness in the most volatile situations, which kind of brings me to my thoughts on LSU. You've played
Yeah.
there. What
Yeah.
is that like? Is he going to face some of those same challenges down there in LSU?
Oh yeah, man. You get ready. LSU is one of the only stadiums where now we were playing them and they were number one in the country. Their entire student section
Mhm.
was there from the very front row to the top row in Death Valley. I mean, that thing's tall. They were there 3 hours early. Usually we go to a
Right.
stadium, we get there 3 hours early. There's no one there in the game, and you're
Mhm.
warming up, you're walking the field, you're just doing your thing. You got sweats on. You're not even padded up for the game, much less fans are in the stadium. LSU's were already there and they were chanting at us. Some very colorful chants that I can't repeat on this podcast, on this show. I'll never, it was pregame, Josh. It was 3 hours before the game. We had our sweats on. And
Right.
so it smells like bourbon, Spanish mosses in the trees. They put Mike the Tiger. I don't know if they still do this, but they used to put him right outside of our locker room, the visitors' locker room, which is about this big. It's a terrible locker room. You're uncomfortable. It's just a great place to play football. You're like, football is not a nice game. It's not supposed
Right.
to be comfortable. It's not supposed to be like watching a game at AT&T Stadium. If it's cold, it's cold. If it's hot, it's hot, and that's LSU. So, yeah, Taylor Green's going to have his stuff. He better have it ready. And I remember with Houston, we used to have they'd bring speakers out in the practice fields, and they would
Mhm.
blast loud music and the fight songs of the opposing team all practice, to where you were just yelling at each other all practice to get you ready for that
Right.
road noise. And so, stuff like that, I think, gives you a winning edge. But defensively, it's going to be quiet out there, right? They don't cheer when their offense is on the field. So it's awesome being a defensive player in the away stadium, because you're just locked in. And
Mhm.
when you go make a play and you can hear the little rustle from the Razorback fans over that little section in the corner where they put them, man,
Right.
it just fires you up like you're in Donald W, man. So there's a lot of cool atmosphere things in away games that you don't get uh,
Right.
home games. And so I'm fired up, if you can't tell. I
No, I
love
know you are, Matt. I know, man. LSU week, baby. That was one of the best weeks when we were in college.
It
LSU
was.
week.
I
Oh
know
my
they
gosh.
stole it from us. Battle to Boot is our rival game, and so it was always the last year of the game for us after Thanksgiving. And whenever everyone's at home eating turkey with their families and stuff, there's always something special when you're like, "Hey, I'm here to play football."
Yeah.
And against LSU, it was always I was 2 for 4 with LSU. They were ranked
Yeah.
number one in the country and number 17, something like that.
Yeah.
Actually, 3 for 4. We beat them in Little Rock, Coach Petrino's first year, number one in the country the year before, and then no, I was 2 for 4. Yeah, so we've done pretty good against LSU, and I
Yeah. I
think
mean, was the last time we beat LSU in LSU when Houston and Peyton and
in
Darren had those big games?
'06 year, yeah, I don't know. They were number one in the country.
Yeah.
That's when we
No,
brought
I
that
know.
wood.
But I
Um,
I think that might be the last time we beat LSU because I don't think, Petrino ever beat LSU when we traveled there. I
at
think we came
LSU,
close, one year, but I
they
don't
just
think we beat them. I think his
no,
wins against LSU was obviously,
Golden Little Rock.
in Little Rock and War Memorial,
Yeah,
in '08, and,
yeah. Never
I
been.
think I
It's an
think both
interesting
maybe
stat to
yeah.
look up if we've ever beaten them, or
I
when's the last time we beat
I
LSU.
can't remember, an LSU win since at LSU since
Yeah.
since Houston not beat them. And speaking of that game, before we dive off in some film, because we got some stuff we're gonna get into, and I don't have Matt for too long today. Um, Tell me about that night. Tell me about that game. Like, just walk me through just the fourth quarter, winning the game, paint the picture.
Josh, everyone has their own opinions on who to hire in coaching and whatnot, and I just want to be as objective as I can.
Mhm,
When you're in games like that, I can just tell you, systems don't win you the game.
mhm,
Playbook doesn't win you the game. It's the players on the field, it's the energy, it's the momentum, it's the atmosphere in your locker room and the leadership on your sideline from your coaches and your players. And Houston Nutt, love him, hate him, indifferent, he won overtime games.
mhm.
He used to bring Frank Boros in. He was our athletic director at the end of the year, middle end of the year, and Coach Boros was an old Georgia boy, and he talked like what's his name, the chicken from Colonel Sanders style, and he used to tell us, "Hey, they remember in November. They remember in November. That's
Uh-huh.
BCS days when you wanted to go to a bowl game. You had to win at the end of the year. You win in November, and you go 4-0 in November." Houston Nutt always finished those games strong. He always finished the season strong, and that was his culture. He would tell us as a two chin strap game, hey, we were down 21 points in Tuscaloosa one time, Josh, and he came in at halftime and was like, hey, offense on this side, defense on this side. I'm not worried about it. We're going to go out there. We're going to win this game. Let's go. And we broke apart. If you're focused on what you're doing wrong in the system and the technique and the fundamentals, and you're trying to beat Bama like Bama, that's a tough draw, man. And so LSU is the same way. In 06, they were number one in the country. They had Jamarcus Russell, Odell Beckham. I mean, you name it, everybody. And
Mhm,
man, we were just like this. Like, ain't nobody can compete with us. Like, we
mhm,
knew going in that we were about to go in there and take over. And it was an overtime game. And man, the energy on the field was like, we're not leaving here without winning. We're not leaving here without the boot. Like, we were
mhm.
going down to get the boot. That was our focus. And um, I think Arkansas until recently had the longest game on record. That Kentucky game was like 6 or 7 overtimes with Houston Nutt,
Yeah.
and that was the culture. I was in both locker rooms, Josh, and I can just tell you guys, you can have all your opinions you want on Houston and all of them you want on Coach P.
Mhm.
The culture was completely different. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
Houston always brought an attitude of we're going to we're a second half team. Doesn't matter what happened in the first half. That whether you're winning or losing, you go finish that game in the fourth quarter, especially. So that's what happened in that LSU game. Like I'm looking at my Razorback stuff around me, and his motto to recruit us was to shock the world, and that was the
Right.
2005 class. And Darren Felix, Casey Dick, Marcus Shavers, your boy,
Mhm.
and they preached how we were the underdogs. You are not a 5-star recruit. Thus being, you are going to go shock the world. We're
Right.
going to go turn some heads this year, and we're not going to take any prisoners. That was the mindset. Like, that's what we got recruited as. I'm looking out. We're going to shock the
Mhm.
world. It's in bold letters. And if you don't
I'm
take that
getting
ownership,
chills, Matt.
I know it fires me up, man, because if you don't, that's what I think so many of us, me,
Yeah.
you, DJ, and Grant, if we have one common thread here on this thing is, hey, does some of us want Coach Petrino and some of us not? Whatever, that doesn't matter. What we all want is someone that knows Arkansas,
Yeah.
because we are underdogs. It's a team
Mhm.
full of 2, 3 stars and maybe a couple 4 stars. That's where I'm a big fan of that heart, man. You go down to Baton Rouge, they're number 1 in the country, right? Like, oh, everyone's got more NIL than us. Oh, they're ranked number 2 in the country. Hey, guess what? Newsflash. This is the SEC. It's going to happen every year. You
Mhm.
want it or you don't. If you don't, go to the Big 12.
Yeah.
Go score a lot of points and go let up a bunch of points and go in the Big 12. But here's the SEC. You're going to play 5 ranked teams a year. Buckle up. It's a 2 chin strap season.
Yeah.
So I'm not fired up on a Thursday.
Well, Matt, I wanna get into
Yeah, come on. I
to the
want to see
plays
Baton Rouge.
because look, we are going to Death Valley, and it is LSU week, and the fans need to kinda
Yeah.
know what we're looking at here against LSU, so I'm gonna bring up a couple of plays here, Matt, and we
Second and
talked
long.
about this earlier.
Yeah.
One of the keys to success is against LSU is gonna be winning on, early downs, and
Yeah.
so I've got a couple plays here where you can see that Alabama has no problem winning on early downs. Here it is, 2nd and 9.
Yeah.
You can see Nussmeier here
Yeah.
dropping
I
back in the
love them this
pocket, delivering a
ball.
ball, and this is what we want Arkansas to do. Why can't Arkansas DBs
Right.
play that deep ball like this in big moments?
Right.
Balls in the air, go
Right.
make a play. You know what? We've had a couple guys. I'll take that back. Julian Neal, I've
Julian
seen
Neal.
him do this. I
He's a
just
player.
want you got to do it at LSU when the
Yeah.
lights are on. We got to be able to have our
Right.
DBs step up and make big
Right.
plays. And LSU or Alabama, should I say, doesn't have a problem
Right.
doing it year over year over year, which
That's
I
their
love
thing.
to see. Then
Right.
again, 2nd and 10, early
Make 'em walk
downs.
it.
We
Right.
can't let them just work their way up the field. Love to see defensive linemen getting through the offensive line. You can see
Mhm.
here he's going to shoot the gap immediately. I mean, almost unblocked. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute, Matt, because their offensive line probably is their weak point right now.
Yeah. Yeah, be disruptive. We've got a defensive front, Josh. Last week versus Mississippi State, we're scheming more towards LSU than looking back right now. I think that's important. We've
Hmm.
got a defensive line that is super disruptive. We had 2 sacks last week, and we had 10 tackles for loss. Josh, that's incredible. I look back at A&M, I look back at Oregon, I look back at some of the top 10 teams. They've got 2 or 3, 4 tackles for loss, 2 or 3 sacks. We had 10 tackles for loss.
Right.
We had 2 sacks, and we had 9 pass breakups. They threw the ball 30 times, 29 times, and we had 9 pass breakups. We are knocking the ball down literally a third of the time, and we're pressuring this guy. The other 10, like, the fact that we lost that game and they're still getting numbers was incredible. We're still
Yeah.
having a very productive front. I think Sori had a great game. Philip Lee got in the game. Cam Ball played football. Like, if we can continue to have a good defensive front, you'll do what Alabama did versus LSU. I think that if we can create one-on-one edges with their tackles and our defensive ends, whether it's Sori or Quincy Rhodes, who's number 10 in the country right now with sacks. He's got 8 sacks. He's number 10 in the
Right.
country. He's one of the best in the country. Everyone talks about offense and all these offensive stats. Well, we have one of the best defensive rushers in the country right now in Quincy Rhodes.
Hmm.
So, I really think that the ability is there. And for LSU with the susceptible offensive line and some bang-ups with their wide receivers,
Right.
those 2 things combined, Josh, we got nothing to lose.
Yep.
Go man blitz them. Go slant your defensive ends. I'm sorry, slant your defensive tackles. Make the guards in the center, those interior 3 linemen, stay locked in on the
Hmm.
tackles and create those one-on-one opportunities with your defensive ends and your outside rushing linebackers like Sori. So
Yeah. Well,
I
and
think
and and we even kind of got back to what we talked about earlier.
yeah,
Another backup quarterback situation
there we
potentially
go.
happening. And if that's an omen for us and he
Yeah,
ends up being, playing lights out and becoming a potential Heisman candidate eventually, like Ole Miss's quarterback did, I mean, good grief.
I know. I
But
know.
this is what we're looking at here because you've got let me
3rd and
look
13.
at this here. You've got Nussmeier in the game. So I've got a couple looks for you to look at here.
Okay.
But when Nussmeier's in the game, it seems to me that the best way to frustrate Nussmeier is to get him out of the pocket and make him
Yeah,
move. Vice versa on
yeah.
Van Buren, he likes to get out of the pocket,
Right.
but he's dual threat. He can still throw the ball. So let's take a look at Nussmeier right here.
Yeah.
Alabama's gonna send this edge rush here. They're not sending too many guys. And Matt, I'll kind of let you walk through this play for me. I want you to see it one good time.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll run through it here. The defensive end's doing one-on-one, but that guy right that we just kind of briefly highlighted, you see what happens is it's a 2-part deal. Football is a
Mhm.
dance, man. It's a beautiful symphony. You have Quincy Rhodes rushing off the edge here, and then that number 18 right there that you just highlighted on the 20-yard line into the
Uh-huh.
boundary. He is a hole player, Josh. Whether it's a run or a pass, I'm a huge fan of hole players, which is traditionally a safety rolled down into the hole. So all year we need to be running a hole player. They help with the crossing routes, they help with screens, and they also help with mobile quarterbacks. So what it does is it does put you in a one high situation. But again, this game where LSU's got I mean, look at that play that boy just made. Let's go.
Mhm.
Like Brandon Shaw last week, man, I like you. I like Brandon Shaw. I like Quincy Rhodes. I like Julian Neal. There's guys at every level that I really like on our team. He had a lot of energy last week. He was tapping the hat. He was flying around. He was trying to push guys and get them fired up. We need that energy to beat teams like LSU. Don't be fooled by a 5-4 LSU that just fired a head coach. Some
Right.
of these guys could probably go run in the Olympics. I mean, they have some of the best athletes every year down in Baton Rouge, and that's another
Mhm.
reason why I like beating them Bayou Bengals so much is they had them dudes. And right here, you sit a hold player down there, Josh. It confuses the quarterback. You get good rush edge. You get that quarterback off his spot. Is what we say. That's disruption. Just because you don't get a sack doesn't mean he's not like, oh, like I don't
Right.
want to get hit by this guy. Like, look at
And
him
that's
run
how
through
you
the line.
beat Nussmeier right there. Get
We
him
beat him
out of
right
the
there.
pocket, make him check down to
They
something,
beat him.
you know,
Right.
underneath the linebackers. And if we
Yeah.
can
On
be
3rd and 13.
disciplined, if our linebackers and safeties can be disciplined,
Right.
this
Right.
is not hard football. This is just
It's
smart
not.
football.
It's not hard football. It's smart. We're going to see a couple more plays here by Alabama who are really well coached by my guy, Kane Walmack. He's a 05 Razorback as well.
Mhm.
They have great discipline.
Yeah,
Great.
this is another play here, Matt, where defensive tackle is going to shoot upfield.
Mhm.
Nussmeier, I think, is going to roll out here to the right, but again, getting him out of the pocket seems to be, the way to play this guy.
Yes, man. Whenever you can get an interior push, and that was a called bootleg almost to an extent, but whenever you can get Cam Ball or someone on our interior to get an interior push, that is the kiss of death for
Mhm.
offenses, especially a passing situation. It completely destroys the pocket, and it gives opportunities for your defensive end, who's out here on the edge right there, who makes the tackle, um, gives them an opportunity to make a play in space.
Yeah. Here's another play. I wanted you to take a look at Nussmeier. Now
Look at
here
this
now
Max
here's
Pro.
Yeah, here's what you pointed out is that
All right.
look at how
They're going
many
to do
guys
something
they're sitting
different.
back to block because in
All right.
in this week's presser, Bobby, Petrino actually was like, "Hey, look,
Yeah.
um, Nussmeier can throw the ball,
Right.
and Van Buren can run the ball. He's a dual
Right.
threat. He can throw too." He said, "We gotta prepare for both these guys."
Right.
But whenever they do drop this many guys back into pass pro, all of a sudden he's got a lot of time in the pocket and he's delivering a ball. And this is
Right.
Alabama defense.
Right.
So how's Arkansas supposed to stop this?
Yeah, man. So when they go max pro like this, you really have two rules. So your linebackers can basically add blitz because when you see a running back start to block instead of release out to a pass, you can either add yourself in the mix right now,
Mhm.
or you now turn around and sink under your hooks, you sink under your curls, you read the quarterback's eyes. Because right now you'll see the guy in the middle of the field. He's supposed to be sinking underneath this. But Nussmeier, and this is what I have against zone defenses for the most part, is offenses are so elevated in today's game. They can do this right here between three guys with a good quarterback. So
Mhm.
this is a really hard one to do. But traditionally, whenever you're doing max pro, you're not sending as many wide receivers out. So it should be able to what we call as plaster. So, and this is where Nick Anderson hurt his knee. They're going to be
Mhm.
banged up on the wide receiver front and the offensive line front. So putting pressure, I'm a fan of pressure. If you get beat one on one, great. But if there's only one or two receivers going out for routes,
Mhm.
Josh, as a safety, if I only see one receiver going out on this side and one receiver going out on this side, that's easy. Hey, corner, you lock him up. You lock him up. If he doesn't need inside breaking routes, I'll help you. But you guys got man to man. I'm going to help anything else underneath.
Right.
And so your mindset changes, at least as a defensive back, when they go into max pro. They're going to get a pass off, but it's a one receiver route traditionally. That quarterback's going to stare one guy down or the other, and it's a one or the other pass. So you're going to have to plaster at that point. They're not trying to go and beat you deep. They're just trying to get a completion. That's what that tells me is that offensive line needs help. Whenever they bring a tight end or a running back in to
Right.
help, they're minimizing their availability for pass catching options.
Yeah, and Matt, you always preach the best or the a DB's best friend is a good pass rush. Well, Alabama can send 3.
Yeah, that
Um,
helps. That helps.
do we have that on Arkansas? Is Quincy Rhodes able to do
No,
this?
I don't think we do. It's only because our interior. It's always come down. It starts with the D line, but then it starts with the tackles. If the center can handle the tackle by himself, you'll see right there, guards are able to go out and double team on the edges.
Mhm.
The guys that traditionally get sacks are defensive ends. So you'll see here that the right guard, is able to go in and help on that defensive end. That end right now who gets the sack just beats the left tackle one on one. That's where I love one on one matchups. If we can get a one on one matchup with a 3 down front, Josh, like this happens right here,
Mhm.
I believe in Quincy Rhodes. I think he's going to be able to tear that left tackle apart.
Yeah.
But I bet you they're going to scheme for him. And who would have thought? Look at that lineman covering his head. He's like, man, they rushed through and they got a sack. That you rush through and get a sack, Josh, you're winning championship. You're playing championship football.
Right. Well, and then, okay, so Nussmeier comes out the game, Matt. Now you've
Yeah.
got Van Buren coming in the game, might be Arkansas's kryptonite, but all of a sudden things change and
Right.
you're playing against an RPO offense now.
Mhm.
Nussmeier's pocket passer. That's why they put all those guys back there.
Mhm.
Van Buren comes in the game. Now everybody's running to the right, sending a receiver out here to the flats. And I cut this play up for you because I loved this
The
corner, I
slot
guess, safety
yeah,
playing
the
up. I'm not
nickel.
sure.
Yeah.
But his ability to stay outside when he sees
So
this receiver
refreshing.
and maintain the force and still make the play,
Yeah.
incredible.
It's so
What
refreshing, Josh. That right there, everybody has the ability to do it. Every single person on the Arkansas team, Jordan Young, Caleb Wooden, guys all year that have been letting people get outside of them. You have that. Look how much width that guy just got
Mhm,
because he knew that he had the force. And then look at the inside guys. They got 1, 2, 3 guys running now in pursuit. That
mhm,
play is going nowhere. And this is where it is coaching. This right here in Alabama, like that's good coaching. That really wasn't that guy's play to make.
right,
He just went out there and made a great individual play. I mean, look at that. That's clinic. That's Sunday type stuff. Our guys have the ability to do it. You just have to believe that your pursuit's going to be there because it is a
mhm,
scary feeling getting a lot of width and then having no pursuit. That just means you got a big alley that guy's going to run through. So
right,
uh, there was a couple times last week we forced a couple of fumbles and there was nobody around to pick them up. You know, we were stressing this before the Pittman firing was, hey, I'm going to start a loaf board. Um, when guys don't run to the football, bad things happen. When guys run the football, good things happen. And that's elementary defense. And you don't need some hot, flashy new defensive coordinator or new coaching staff to get that coached into them. Heck, Coach Petrino's defense did a good job at that. We always ran to the ball. We tried
mhm.
to. So I don't know. We'll see this week if we're going to have any lows or if we can get after these guys.
And you made a good point, Matt, earlier talking about Quincy Rhodes. This is what we're gonna need Quincy Rhodes to do is play
Mhm.
extremely disciplined, um, when,
Yeah.
Van Buren comes into the game
Yeah, this is a
because
beautiful snap. This is a
all of a
beautiful
sudden now you've got RPO, you're
right.
playing the run game. Is he giving it to him? Is he
Yeah.
taking it? What's he gonna do? But textbook play, and this is what you
Look
wanna
at that.
see.
Look at that defensive lineman. So that right there tells you guys, fans, he doesn't have run responsibility. He could care less about that run away from him. It's a very
Mhm,
low percentage play that he's going to go and make. So he's got quarterback boot or he's got cutback. That's why he's shuffling down the line like that. He's keeping his edge. And now, oh, bootleg. I have quarterback. The guy, I'm trusting that the guy behind me, the slot, the nickel, the outside linebacker, whoever that is, has the fullback tight end coming underneath. This is a zone, Josh. This you asked me before, is this a zone or a man? This is what
mhm,
zone is supposed to look like. Zone turns to man like that. It's not like, oh, that guy's close to his zone and mine. When in doubt, go lock on this guy. This is a zone defense. You see the guy shuffling over, but no one's running with that guy. It turns into man. Every form of zone turns into man. And when you get guys like that, defensive ends who play discipline and force the play out
mhm.
wide, it gives everybody time to go plaster onto their man and figure out where they're supposed to be in the defense. So it all started with that defensive end. If he crashed down on the run play, that quarterback pulls, he bootlegs, he has an instant pass or an instant run. That's why they like bootlegs with running quarterbacks, is he can pull it down and run if there's nowhere to go. But that defensive end said, no, no.
Yeah, and the theme of this, I think, I mean, against LSU, honestly, I think it's going to
Yeah.
be can our defensive
Yeah.
line step up and win against this offensive line, a
Right.
struggling offensive line,
Yeah.
and they
That's
and
the
they
keys.
they they don't try to hide it. They're bringing in tight ends and running
Right.
backs. They'll they'll have 7 blockers
Right.
just to make sure they can block 4 if that's
Yeah.
what they need to get a clean pocket. And again, defensive line play. As it seems to me that this is what's going to be the
Look
make
at
or
that left
break
tackle. That
situation.
left tackle just is getting beat over and over and over again. I mean, Quincy Rhodes, like, we're watching this same film, and this is 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter with basically it's not a one possession game, but they were in the game the entire fourth quarter. They were trying to score points. They just couldn't do it.
Right.
Now, Alabama's defense is really well coached and they have extreme talent, but Quincy Rhodes is good enough to do this right here. I think he's got the ability to go out there and be really disruptive, as well as Sorey. He's a good edge rusher. When Cam Ball was out versus that Auburn game, we kind of plugged the guys in. Philip Lee came to life last week. And then who else was it? Number 0.
Mhm.
There was
Colin.
two. Yeah, there was 2 guys that came to life last week in addition to Quincy Rhodes and Sorey, and Cam Ball had a tackle for loss. We need our players, especially in the trench. We need to win the trenches, and I think we've got a really good shot this week to do just that. What Alabama did.
Yep. I agree, Matt. And as well, Bobby Petrino this week in his press conference talks about both quarterbacks again,
Yep.
and this is what you see from this backup dual threat quarterback. And I'm at this point in time, after all the games that we've played where a backup quarterback has been able to come in and he's having his breakout game against us, it's got me worried because when he has time in the pocket, Matt,
Yeah, he can do
take a
this.
look at what he's able to do.
Right. Yeah. So they go into a chip block with the tight end, and then they add the running back in for extra protection. So that little chip on the left tackle helped him get his vision downfield. This guy probably was a 4 or 5 star quarterback, and he's sitting on the bench. So they got
Mhm.
your tight end chips, your running back blocks, quarterback's eyes are downfield, and look at this. Throws a laser between 3 guys. Look at Alabama. It's like, oh, what the heck? Like,
Mhm.
how did that
Right.
happen?
Right.
Uh, like that's a hard ball to throw right there. And
Right.
look, all those guys are right there. And 10 knows it. He should have picked it. 16
Yeah.
can't believe it. So,
We
uh,
got 1, 2,
right,
3,
yeah,
4.
you got 4 guys, and that guy
Always
just
did.
threaded the needle. So when the pressure is on, I'm sorry, when the max protection, the offensive line is on, these guys have the ability to make throws, and that's why it's got to be crucial in a zone defense like this right here that you plaster, you look behind you, you find an open guy, and you go get on him.
Mhm. Got another play here for you, Matt, because again, when LSU's offensive line does play good, if they don't
Mhm.
get pressure,
Yeah,
he's got plenty of pocket room
yeah,
and he can throw the football. So,
really hard
how's
throw.
Arkansas stop this? I mean, what are you as a DV, what are you coaching here to have your defense prepared for not only a
Yeah.
quarterback that can run it at any moment, but if he gets good protection, can step up and deliver balls in between defensive backs like that. I mean, that's an NFL throw.
Yeah, I'd be really upset right now if I was Kane Walmack. It's 3rd and 13. I think you got to coach situational football, Josh. Remember, that's our thing. We're educating our people here, right?
Mhm.
Down and distance and personnel. Right now, it's an obvious passing situation. There's very few plays that are in an offensive playbook over 20 yards. Outside of a deep ball, Josh, majority of plays are 15 yards and under.
Right.
So if I'm that top corner right now, I'm backpedaling really slow. Really slow.
Mhm.
It's a one receiver route, basically. So it comes down to your defensive line rush always, but you can't always get pressure on the quarterback. And so you have to anticipate every single snap, the ball is coming my way. Look, this quarterback's looking right at him. He's
Mhm.
getting set up. That corner should be breaking on the ball right now. And look how far off he is.
Yeah.
So I think he was depending on his linebackers getting underneath this ball when it was his play to make the whole time. Like, forget the linebackers, forget your safety help. Like, if that is your man in a zone defense, you need to be a lot closer than where that corner was, especially 3rd and 13. So I know what they were thinking. Don't give up the deep ball, but you got to think about situational football here.
Yeah. Here we are, 2nd and 10, quarterback again, connecting on some easy,
Mhm.
stop routes underneath the underneath
Little
the
route.
the Alabama defense. And
Yeah.
LSU's wide receivers, they're fast. They're always got fast wide receivers. They're
Always.
down a little bit due to a little bit of an injury, but their 2
Yeah.
top receivers are probably still going to play.
Yeah.
Um, Anderson, out with a little bit of an elbow injury is what they said. They listed him as probable. Tells me he's just
He's good.
resting during the week, and
Yeah.
most likely we're going to see him out there, especially with the season on the line the way that it is. These guys are playing for a lot more
Yeah. Time
reasons
for a
than
bowl
just
game. Yeah.
they're playing for bowl eligibility. They're playing for their future NIL, and
Yeah.
it's LSU, man. You're playing in front of your fans. Like, they just treat football different down there.
Yeah, they
So
do.
I'm expected to see these guys. I just want to know from a coaching perspective.
Mhm.
You've done it all. How are you preparing Arkansas for the potential of two different quarterbacks right now on defense?
Yeah. It's a good question, Josh. I would just say, hey guys, look, we've got 2 quarterbacks we're playing this week, and I wouldn't practice a whole lot versus the running quarterback. You know
Mhm.
what you're going to get versus the running quarterback. I would stay true to your laurels and your foundations of we're going to put pressure on the quarterback, whether it's the running quarterback or the throwing quarterback. Your rules really don't change, particularly when you're talking about putting pressure on the quarterback. And at the same time, I like a whole player. I've talked about this a couple of times. Ever since A&M really torched us on those crossing routes, I think
Mhm.
teams they start to scout you and they see your weaknesses. You saw a couple of really good plays by that number 18 for Alabama. He was their whole player, whether it's a running quarterback or crossing routes. Whole players are really effective if you're
Mhm.
not getting there on the blitz, Josh. Matt, how do you stop these like little 8-yard little hooks and curls. Well, you get a guy sitting at 12 yards and the snap of the ball, he doesn't backpedal. He actually takes a step or two forward. And at that point, he's reading the field, Josh, just left and right, dead over the quarterback. If he's looking left, he starts to lean left. If he's looking right, he starts to lean right. Because either way, if it's going to be something in the middle of the field, you got to imagine that field split up into quarters or it's split up into thirds. When the whole player comes down, he basically takes out the middle of the field.
Mhm.
Ain't nobody going to pass around here. You're not going to get a screen. You're not going to get a crossing route. We're not giving you any easy stuff.
Mhm.
And so putting one-on-one pressure on the edges with Quincy Rhodes is crucial. Getting Sori mixed in the mix, pair that with a whole player behind it, Josh. I think we have to get creative with our defense. If you're going to sit back and cover 4 or cover 3, or
Yeah. That's
you're
what I
going
was
to
gonna ask you.
get torn apart.
If you've seen these protection issues on tape,
Yeah.
your offensive coordinator, how creative are you getting with blitzes? What do you does that make you excited watching that offensive line?
Oh yeah.
Are you are you planning on
Oh
sending a
yeah.
lot of pressure? How aggressive are you getting on first down?
I'm just an aggressive guy. If you couldn't tell or couldn't guess, but pair their offensive line woes with some banged up wide receivers.
Mhm.
That's a perfect combination for Arkansas to tee up. And we're 2-7. So what do we got to lose? Philip Lee is extremely productive. We had a couple of guys last week that were getting production in addition to Quincy Rhodes and Xavier and Sori and Cam Ball. Like, you need to put pressure on these guys in a creative, whether you're slanting your defensive line or you're blitzing an outside linebacker and Xavier Sori. I just think that there's an ability this week that we have, ironically, versus LSU, which is never true, that they're going to have a weak offensive line.
Mhm.
I think you take advantage of it and you put pressure on them until you prove to the quarterback, or the quarterback can prove to you that, hey, I'm gonna pick you guys apart one on one.
Next question. Communication's key. You're at LSU. It's
Yeah,
loud. How does
yeah.
that affect the defensive communication?
Doesn't affect the defense, Josh. Remember, their offense is on the field. It's
Mhm.
quiet. It's quiet in Baton Rouge when their offense is on the field. That's
Mhm.
awesome. You can hear a pin drop. You're so locked in and focused.
Mhm.
Home games are the games where it's loud on the defensive side of the ball. It's
Right.
very rare that LSU and Death Valley is going to be deafening when you're on the field as a defensive player. Not a lot of people think about that. Away
Mhm.
games for defenses, you usually have better communication. So
Yeah.
that's where you can hear the little yay, like go Hogs in the corner when you make a play, which your away fans, you just have this one little section. And when you can get them fired up and you can hear them cheering on third down, you know that you're doing something right. So I used to always have that mindset. Like, I want to hear our fans in the
Mhm.
away stadium.
Yeah. Man, I'm excited for it. LSU versus Arkansas, Death Valley. Petrino's coming back.
Yeah.
What can he do in Death Valley? I don't think he's won one down there before, but what's your
Go
score
get
prediction?
one.
Do you think that this is where Petrino might go grab one now with the struggles that you've seen with LSU, or are you still kind of thinking that this season is gonna continue on the trajectory that it's been on?
Looking at the odds just from ESPN and stuff, it looks like LSU is going to win this game.
Mhm.
If I was a betting man, I would say that it may be a close game. The spread is 5.5 points, but at the same time, they're beat up, they're banged up, they don't have a head coach. They're playing for a bowl game. We're playing
Yeah.
for what?
If there's a
Uh,
time to beat LSU, it's right now.
if there's a time to beat LSU, it's right now, right?
Yeah.
So I think that Petrino can go down there and get a win. Absolutely. Will it happen? I'm not holding my breath for it.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I'm not giving up on our Hogs. I still think that there's a lot to play for.
Mhm.
If pride is anything, go play for your pride. Go play for your state, man. There's Lions, Tigers, and Bears,
Mhm.
and there's that one Razorback. So I'm hopeful that we can go pull this one off because I think it's another winnable game for us. And we've been let down versus Auburn and Mississippi State. Go win one in Baton Rouge and just go get an SEC win. Go get a conference win. It changes the whole energy in your locker room the week going forward. So
Right.
we're due. We're due. I will say that. I think we've been playing well enough on both sides of the ball at times to go down there and put it all together. He's had more time now. He's a month into his coaching, or a month plus since Notre Dame. So
Right.
he's got a little more time with more hooks, a little more, time for that stew to kind of meld together. So it's our
Mhm.
time. Let's go win a game.
Let's go win one, and that's gonna change the narrative, and the coaching situation at Arkansas is gonna
Yeah,
get even crazier if he's
I know.
able to go down to Death Valley and win one.
Yeah,
Because I mean, that's more impressive than him winning
yeah,
against Auburn or Mississippi State at
yeah,
home, which he
yeah,
should, but
yeah,
I already know that the Arkansas fans are
yeah.
on a roller coaster ride of emotions, and if he
I
goes
know,
down to LSU, you're gonna have
I
a
know.
bigger swath of people that are getting a little bit louder about, "Hey,
Yeah,
that's hard to do.
yeah,
He's done that, and, they're gonna wanna name him the coach. I'm telling you, I can already see it happening. I know the way the Arkansas fans work, that's
yeah.
what happens.
I know.
Um, a win at LSU for Bobby Petrino changes the narrative. I know. Will it ultimately happen? You know, I saw something on the news earlier today or yesterday about, someone trying to say that
Yeah,
James Franklin's contract is already being worked out and
yeah,
blah, 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 blah. I
yeah.
don't believe that for a
I know,
second, Matt.
I know.
I don't think that anybody knows anything. Maybe people are just, saying things to have a little bit of
Right.
clickbait. Um,
Yeah,
I think that we are still in complete coach search,
yeah,
undecided, but hey, maybe I'm wrong, right? Hopefully
yeah.
I'm wrong. Hopefully we've
I'd say
got it
wrong.
we've got it all figured out. But if Bobby
Yeah,
Petrino wins that LSU game, it's definitely going to throw
yeah.
kind of
Yeah, it'll help.
a curveball on the way things have been going after
Right.
the 4 losses that we've had.
Yeah,
So
man.
excited to see it.
I'm not against Petrino by any means. I'm just for our Razorbacks. I want what's
Yeah, no, I
best
know you
for our
are. Yeah,
players, you know?
absolutely.
And
Hey,
if I learn
winning's
anything
winning.
if I learn anything from Coach Petrino himself, it's competition.
Yeah.
And if he recruited me after my junior year of high school and I went up to that recruit weekend and I had a terrible showing or I didn't win one-on-one matchup, I wouldn't expect to get a scholarship after that weekend. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I could still be a really good player and still have offers from other big time schools. But if I go to the invite only recruit camp and I don't have a good showing, I'm probably not going to get a scholarship.
Mhm.
And, I think that's where we're all talking about, hey, will a win help Petrino's chances? Absolutely. But if he doesn't win a single game, man, that's a tough hill to just be like, yep, let's hire him. He didn't
Right.
have his guys.
Yeah.
What happened at
No.
Auburn? What happened at Ole Miss? What happened in
Right.
Memphis? What happened in all these different games? Like, I just need him to win one. I want what's best for the team, and if Coach Petrino is the best for the team, let's go Hogs.
Yep.
Period. All day, every day.
Yep.
But if
Well, it's
James
gonna be
Franklin's
fun.
available, I saw that
It's
same thing. It was like Arkansas is going to make waves nationally. Like it's going to like shut the scene down. Apparently, I saw the same thing, and
right.
it's like if we have a guy that can blow Petrino out of the water, go get him right now.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
If not, we weigh our options. But
Right.
it would help our options if he won a couple of games.
Yes, it would.
He would say the
Absolutely.
same he says the same thing, I promise you. Or he's
Yep.
thinking it.
Yep.
Go
All right,
Hawks.
Matt. Well, Saturday, you'll be joining
Yep.
Matt or DJ, Grant,
Yep.
and I for the game day show. I think DJ's coming up to Northwest Arkansas, and we, I believe, might be at Sassy's. I don't know if it's finalized, if we're working it out, but you're missing out, man. If you haven't been back to Fayetteville to Sassy's, we used to go there all the time in college.
Yeah.
What a great place to be. I hope it all gets worked out so that we definitely can be at Sassy's. I believe we are. But we'll see. We'll make an official announcement if it is going to happen. But yeah, that's where we'll be doing our live game day show and be hanging out there for the game. So Matt, you'll be joining us remotely,
Yep.
probably on vacation at a cabin somewhere. You know, Matt always getting out of town.
I'll move in.
And guys, if y'all are watching this right now, drop a comment. We want to know what your game day prediction is,
Yeah,
thoughts on
curious.
Petrino,
Yeah,
the whole 9 yards. And
yeah.
once again, thank you to Oaklawn Sports for sponsoring this show. You guys are watching 4th and 5, and we'll see you this weekend.